S&E Top 3.
S&E Top 3, Justin.
Vertus.
Jello.
Hey, let's do a movie review. Why not? Usually on the actual podcast, but we're coming to you on YouTube now. And we have Venom this past weekend. And if you haven't checked it out, like myself.
Like him.
Yeah, like me.
This guy.
Spoiler alert. This video, spoilers. So if
From
you
the
don't
get-go.
want to be spoiled, as much as we want you to watch, don't watch. But
Hella spoilers.
we just have to give you that warning so we don't get too much hate.
Yeah, because we're friends. We're not going to ruin it for you. Even though you should ruin it for yourself and go see it.
There you go.
Don't be this guy.
Don't be this
I'm
guy.
going to see
He's
it.
had plenty of time to see the movie. No
I have no
excuses.
life outside of this podcast. I don't know how I didn't see it. Vertus, let's start with you and let's just go with the simple question. Your reaction to this movie, your initial feeling coming out of it.
I highly enjoy this movie. I thought it was good that the problem was they had to make a Spider-Man movie minus Spider-Man. Venom didn't have any connections to Spider-Man in this universe. They said he was from New York from the onset, but this movie takes place in San Francisco, and now you have to create Venom as its own entity.
His own character.
Like his own character, not based off of, oh, he's a super villain for Spider-Man, or oh, he's got to get this, he's got to look like that. Like, no, he's just an alien symbiote coming to Earth. So I highly enjoyed it from a different perspective. I went in with low expectations because of all the critics, but I came out with high expectation as a fan.
Jello, are you with that?
I gotta agree with you, man. Critically, I was watching all of these reviews online.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has something negative to say.
Right.
But my mother always told me, decide for myself, dive in, and then make a decision. I'm glad that I did, because Venom was really dope. Out of 5 stars, I give it a solid 4. It bothered me because I didn't know how it was going to work. How are they going to create a Venom story without Spider-Man? Because Spider-Man is so necessary to Venom's character in the comics, and they did just that. They created Venom as his own separate character. You don't even think about Spider-Man. I think my favorite thing I was concerned about was the way the symbiote was going to look on Venom. Was it going to be too much CGI? And they did it just right. Like, I felt like it was a great movie. They did a fantastic job.
So according to Forbes, Venom earned $80.25 million in North America and $205 million worldwide. It beats the inflation.
That's pretty damn good.
Inflation-adjusted domestic debuts of Captain America, the First Avenger, Thor, The Incredible Hulk, and both Ant-Man movies. Jello, does that surprise you, hearing that comparison to those movies that it beat? Is that at all a surprise to you?
It is a bit of a surprise, man, because the way the Marvel Cinematic Universe is so set up, with the structure of Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, now getting into Phase 4, and Venom not being a part of that cinematic universe, I was like, there's no way in hell it's going to be able to compete. Mm-hmm. There's no way. But, I mean, they did it. They pulled it off. They did a fantastic job.
Vertus?
Especially, you have to take in consideration that the last time we saw Venom was in Spider-Man 3, and everybody hated
that Venom.
Yes. It was like, what is this trash? What is this garbage? Where is my Venom? Now, this isn't everyone's Venom. If you're a comic book nerd, I'm a comic book nerd. I went into it like, all right, well, I got to at least give it a shot, see how they handle this. And they did a spectacular job of just spinning the story. They were just like, you know what? We're not going to... This is far left on the West Coast. Mm-hmm. This is what's happening over here. You had a villain... what was his name?
The kids
Carlton
Drake.
Carlton Drake. And he was just, I'm just doing what's best for the world. The Life Foundation.
Right.
And he was just... And you saw that instant rapport that he had with Eddie Brock when Eddie came to interview him. And... he was like, Eddie got on his journalistic stuff like, listen, what about the deaths? What about the bodies? Mm-hmm. And then Carlton was like, shut this down. And then Eddie's life downhill from there.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, but I do feel like there were parts of the movie that were missing. Because when him and the symbiote first got together, they got together like they were best friends. Like, they only beat for like hot 3 minutes of the film, then it was just like, all right, we good. Right. We got this. Let's, bite off some heads. Let's go get it. I was like, all right, well,
The most interesting point that I've heard, the comparison, what you guys have both said, is the Spider-Man expectations coming into this movie, and that's kind of one of the biggest challenges they faced going in. What was the key part of this movie that made you forget about Spider-Man and focus more on Venom, because I feel like, and for those who haven't seen it, those who are worried that Spider-Man's not in it, it's not going to be that great. What's the key part, either whether it's a scene or just an overall vibe that they gave that helped you forget about Spider-Man the most? Vertus, I'll start with you on this.
I think it's Tom Hardy, and he's funny in this movie. Like him and the reaction to Venom, their chemistry. I know it's Tom Hardy doing the voice of Venom as well, but he has chemistry with himself, if I say that. So he knew how to be like a smart ass to himself. Like, and then there was a part of the movie where Venom was going against the cops, and Tom Hardy had come out the elevator, and they were like, he was like, guys, you don't want to do this. You can see it in the trailer here. I'll probably put something in here. But, and he's like, you don't want to do this. And the cops go, mask on, and they go 10-4, roger that.
Copy.
They go copy. Yeah. And then like Tom Hardy just as himself goes mask on, and then Venom goes copy. And he masks up.
Yeah.
I was like, that was cool. I was like, that was a cool part of the movie.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's like, how would you deal if you instantly start hearing voices in your head?
Yeah.
And that's how he treats the movie.
Jello, what part of the movie helped you forget about Spider-Man the most, at least for the sake of this movie?
Truth be told, man, I absolutely agree with you. It was Tom Hardy's dynamic with Venom, and I don't think any actor could have played this part as well as Tom, coming off the fact that he's just always been like a serious character.
Yes.
So you finally see a comedic side of Tom, but still the seriousness of Venom, and then somehow Venom became funny and was a loser as well.
Yeah.
So that's how they were able to relate to one another. It was just the interaction between Symbiote and Tom Hardy and how he pulled it off, where you just completely forgot that Venom is not a part of. You don't think about Spider-Man at all in this movie.
Yeah, and they avoid it easily because Venom doesn't use webs to swing.
No.
He uses his brute power. There's a part of the movie he's just running up a building. He's digging his claws in there. He's not swinging around the city. And the one time he does do that is because he's reaching out to grab the bike.
Yeah.
Like you see it in the trailer, probably somewhere around here. But like he's reaching out to grab the bike, and he reaches out to grab and pulls it back to him.
Yeah.
So it's not really like a spider's web. It's just the Venom itself reaching out with its tentacles and stuff like that.
All right, Jello, I want to start with you. Be a little critical here. What could have been better in this movie, even though it's getting a lot of positive reviews from us and elsewhere? But what could have been better?
There was a couple of things that could have been better. Number one, Venom's transfer into Tom Hardy, Eddie Brock. Like when the symbiote took over Eddie Brock, it should have been more. It was just like, I'm going in and I'm here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the transition of him being sick and all that happened afterwards, but I wanted to see some bit of a tussle or resistance when the symbiote is taking over Tom Hardy. That's number one. Number two, again, spoilers, Venom's decision to stay on Earth and protect Earth was kind of out of nowhere.
Yes.
I like you. I like it here. I'm not going to let Riot destroy us. And I was just like, come on, writers. You could have done a little bit better with
meaning.
Or a meaningful reason why Venom decides to stay. Like maybe there's something about Tom Hardy's body that relates to him. And you know what I mean? Something like that would have made that whole transition a little bit better, man. But that and the final fight scene was a little bit, wasn't good enough for me. I wanted more because it took so long to get there, and then when we got there, it was over. So.
Okay.
Vertus, what can you be critical about?
I'm gonna agree with Jello. Like because I said earlier, the bonding of him and the symbiote that happened like very quickly. Like out of nowhere, Venom was like, "Yeah, on my planet, I'm a loser too," and it was just like, "All right, wait a minute, you're a loser,
but you're Venom. Wait a minute."
Like so, and Riot's when he got to Carlton Drake to take him over, there was like. Through the course of the movie, they make an emphasis on the symbiote has to match with your body, your chemistry.
Right.
Because they kept putting in different rabbits, then they kept dying, but the one rabbit survived. And it was like, oh, let's go to human testing quick. So the movie was like, I felt like they shot this like within a year. And it was like, some of them was like, oh, we got to get this out. Let's keep these beats. Because it felt nonstop. It was 2 hours plus. Yeah. And it felt like
it didn't feel long.
It didn't feel long at all. I felt like I was missing parts of it actually. Like I could do a longer movie. I'm down.
That's usually a compliment to a movie.
It is. I'll watch part 2. You guys know where to go with this.
Because we all know Michael Bay. God damn, bro. Can you not make any more 72-hour movies anymore?
The one thing I want to give props to him about though is the side cast. I loved all those characters. His girlfriends that he divorced, whatever his fiance
that
he broke up with, her Why can't I talk?
No, but I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Her boyfriend in the movie is the coolest dude throughout the movie.
Yes, the
He's
doctor guy.
Yeah, the doctor guy
Yeah.
is the coolest dude in the movie. He's just like, Eddie, I just want to get you taken care of, man. What's up? You know,
Yeah.
he's like hanging out, looking out for Eddie. He's like, bring Eddie here. Like, he's just a normal guy. He's not a dick. He's not a douche.
Yeah.
He's not like, hey, man, what are you doing here? He's just like, oh, man, you need some help? Let me get you in here. Let's help you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because all the time, the ex is he's a dick.
Yeah.
All right, before we get out of here, Vertus, 5-star rating. What are you giving us?
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to give it 4.
Give it
and
4?
I look forward to seeing part 2, man.
4?
I'm gonna give it a solid 4. By the way, at the end of the movie, you know they have those little
Mini cutscenes.
cuts of what's to come.
Extras.
They got Woody Harrelson playing Carnage.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm fine. I wasn't feeling the big red.
Yeah,
wig.
it gave me the Carrot
I was
Top
like-
vibe. I was like, come on.
I was like, get the wig off of him. He could just be bald. He doesn't need to do that. Sorry to give that away if you didn't stay to the end.
When
yet.
I
told you
get out of
spoilers.
here,
That happens.
it's gonna be carnage.
He's just chewing up the scene.
What?
Like, what? Why is Eddie here?
We told you there'd be spoilers. Spoiler, every Sunday there's a new S&E Top 3 podcast episode. Find us on your favorite podcasting app, 1051theboss.com, also under the podcast tab, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at SE Top 3 Podcast. Let us know what you think about Venom. Comment below. Do you agree with these guys? Do you agree with the ratings? Talk to you guys very soon.
Don't be this guy. Go see it.
This fool had many days to see the movie.
No life.
Yeah, comment about not seeing it.
No life.
Later, guys.